Greetings, my movie geeks. Welcome to another episode of Man About a Dog movie podcast. I'm Nate, the ultimate movie geek, and I'm joined by Mrs Movie Geek. Hello.
Hiya.
Tonight we're going to be talking about Game of Thrones, Season 8, the final season. What did you think of the series so far?
I really enjoyed it. It's been like watching like a feature-length film most weeks.
Yeah. The first two episodes were 58 minutes long.
Yeah.
And then the last few have been at least over an hour and 20 minutes, over an hour and 10. So it's been quite good. They spent a lot of money on it.
Yeah, you can see that, I think.
The episode number has dropped to 6. But I think they've tried to go out with, like you say, feature-length movie style episodes.
And do you know what? I've preferred that because there's been times over the years where I've been a bit bored with Game of Thrones.
Bored of it. So
it's been the same stuff, and it's like loads of people. I lose track of who everyone is because there's so many houses and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's your episodes like Walking Dead where they're just filler episodes and they're boring and like recaps.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that.
So, in a way, I quite like that they've made a short series. They've kind of done what we always want them to do, but then they've actually done it, and I think a lot of people don't like it.
I think this had a lot of backlash, this series, but I don't know whether it's because people have been thinking their ideas of how it's supposed to run. Yeah. And they haven't gone that way, or because the writers have gone away from the books. So a few series ago, they left the books and it was all just brand new written stuff. So these TV writers have had to make it up as they go, potentially. We don't know because there's still 2 books outstanding. But yeah, I think with more money they've been able to create some quality TV. And despite what you think about it, if you have hated it or you've loved it, it's still one of the most
visually it's amazing. Yeah.
It's the best TV that we have so far. Like you mentioned Walking Dead, that's pales in comparison to Game of Thrones.
I don't think there's anything that you can compare it to, not in a TV series wise. No,
maybe Westworld. That's another HBO, isn't it?
It is, but I don't know. Westworld, I think budget-wise would be nowhere near this.
Not yet, no, but it probably started out the same as it was. I can't remember what it was. It was either they had $1 million for the whole of the first series of Game of Thrones, and then it later series was like 1 million per episode or something like that, and it just increased, and you can tell from the budget. Like there's a lot of the first few series they're in castles.
I'll tell you what it's gone away from, which I think a lot of people are probably drawn to it for those reasons. There's a lot of sex and violence in it all the time, and it's like sexually, it's totally gone away from that. And if there is any sex scenes, it's just the initiation of the sex scene. There's not tits and ass, is there? There's not much of it anymore. I think you can tell the writing's changed.
Well, it's gone for the story, hasn't it? It's tried to, instead of, I suppose I see what you mean. Yeah, that's brought people in. They termed a word for it called sexposition, because there was usually someone in a situation, and they would progress the story with a load of tits on the screen. So yeah, you're right. There's been one scene that I can remember in this series, and that was when Bronn was about to get his end away with 3 prostitutes in the first episode.
Oh yeah, and he got into
and then he had to go, didn't
he? Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of the first episode? It was like you can't remember, can you?
No.
It was pretty much a return to Westeros to show us where everything was, where all the characters were, and it was like bringing Daenerys and her armies and the dragons to Winterfell, so they were all marching up to fight, and it was just a recap.
And it was kind of the love story between Jon and Daenerys, wasn't it?
Yeah, because they were still they didn't know, or Jon didn't know who he was. Yeah, and there was a scene where they fly away on the dragons together, and they find a frozen waterfall and have a moment.
Yeah.
And then he sees behind her back that Drogon's the big dragon is just staring at him, and it was like a comedic moment that kind of didn't really
fit.
Yeah, and especially if you're looking at the last few episodes or the last episode, it still doesn't fit.
No, I think there's a few of the behaviours that they don't seem to follow on, or they don't really make sense.
And character behaviours.
Yeah.
Like who?
Like what you were saying about the dragons, and like in the last series, when the dragon does something, and it's like it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I won't go into that yet, but
no, bed. Go on, Meg. That's the dog. So yeah, you had Jaime Lannister arriving at the end of that episode, because Bran was waiting for him in the wheelchair because he knew he was coming. We'll get onto Bran later, won't we? And then you got the second episode, which I thought you had everything set up in the first episode. You knew where everyone was. It was an introduction episode, which most of the first episodes are, and then you've got the second episode, which was the night before battle, and we had different people seeing with different people, like in the Great Hall. Meg, bed. You had people like Tyrion, Jaime, Tom,
it's kind of like a Last Supper, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just seeing how everyone. And now I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was quite.
Yeah, you saw the
ins and outs of everyone's lives.
Yeah, you saw their insecurities and the worries and the fact that people just wanted to be with somebody else. They didn't want to be alone.
Yeah.
Because it was probably the night before they were all going to die.
Yeah.
And it was reaching out to somebody, wasn't it?
Like, it was trying to find the human.
Yeah, you want to be, and I think we can all identify with that. And if you're a bit scared and you want to be with somebody, don't you? Yeah. You want to be, even you talking, there was people getting together, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was like Arya and, I can't remember his name, the
king's illegitimate son. I can't think of his name.
I can't think of his Yeah, and then you have Jaime making Brienne a knight, the first female knight in the kingdom.
Yeah. And
you have Tormund's story of how he became big and strong. Do you remember that one?
Oh yeah. Yeah. What did he suckle from?
He crept into he killed a giant, crept into the bed of the giant's wife, and suckled on
a breast milk because he was a kid. And that's why he's so strong. He's funny. He's a good character.
He was, yeah. But I suppose he's only in the first half of the series.
Yeah.
And then disappears. And you have, I think, at the end of the first episode, you have Sam telling Jon who his parents are, and it's Lyanna Stark and I can't remember his name. Is it Rhaegal?
Yeah. Daenerys' uncle and
Daenerys' brother.
Yeah.
So throughout this episode, I think she's trying to connect with him, but he's just ignoring her, isn't he? Completely. And then,
as you would if you'd been
shagging
you, hadn't he?
It's not the worst that's been on this show, though, is it?
Let's
face it. And then at the end of the episode, and this is what I think has been wrong with this series, is like you said, it's been good that it's been less episodes with longer episodes, but I think there's been elements to it that have been rushed. So you've got the reveal, he has found out who his parents are, and that he's not really a Stark, he's actually a Targaryen.
Yeah.
But he then tells her, and at that moment, there's no real consequences to it. So you've had the whole episode, and then it's sort of like a cliffhanger until the next episode. And then even in the next episode, it's not acknowledged.
It's not really talked about, is it?
No, because it's the big battle. It's the long night where the Night King, who has been a threat since the opening scenes of the whole series, and I suppose it has been an underlying storyline, whereas the whole throne stuff has been the key to the series, hasn't it? It's been most the main storyline.
The Night King was going to be the thing that totally removed all the other stuff because he was going to destroy everyone and everything, and everyone became undead.
Yeah, and that's what I thought. That
was the biggest threat, and that's why everybody is banded together. Well, not everybody, but most of them have banded together.
And that's what hooked me with this series. I came into that. I've never read the books, and I never. I've read one book.
I say I bought you some.
Yeah, but that was after the series. I never read it before.
Right.
And I came into it, and I didn't know there was anything like supernatural about it. But that's what hooked me, and that's what I really enjoyed about it. And then you have this episode, which is 82 minutes long. It was the longest episode in the series, and it's a quality episode. It's well made. It's well shot. But that's it. It's the story.
It's done. It's all done in that episode.
Yeah.
Everything that seems to have been building up over however many series has been.
Yeah.
It's like everything is done in that episode, and it's like usually with shows it's dragged out over an entire series. Like everything is, and they've done it all in an episode. But I don't.
Did you like it? Yeah.
I did. There's a lot to condense into it.
Yeah.
And if I'd read the book, it probably would frustrate the hell out of me.
But then again, the books haven't got to this point yet.
Yeah.
So, and I think
I enjoyed it personally. I think the issue with shows and why shows do become boring and you get disillusioned with them is they drag everything out. They drag it out too much. And actually, this has just gone. Do you know what? I'm gonna do the complete opposite.
Yeah.
We'll just do that, and we'll do that massive wall that's been building up. We're just gonna do that in an episode.
It was good. You can't fault it. They had everything.
I thought it was brilliant.
They had
brilliant episode
like the shot with the Dothraki, or all with they called scimitars or something. Yeah, and
they ride out, don't they, into the dark with torches. They're the first wave, and you see it from up above.
All
the parapets and all the lights just going out.
It goes into the darkness and it goes.
That. Yeah.
What got me about it though is that the dead attack the lines, and they're like a wave. They're like a massive wave that doesn't stop. And even you said that, like, some of the main characters who were on that front line, there's no way they should have survived that.
Yeah.
Because they were swamped.
Yeah.
And then later on,
they appeared, and you're like, hang on, how did you survive? Because it's like everyone was just being ripped
Sam,
apart.
he should have died several times. He was on his back for most of the episode.
Yeah, he's like a little turtle, and he bless him.
Yeah, but like I say, quality episode. It was really well made, and the battle scenes. There's hardly any speaking in it. All there is battle scene for over an hour.
And like some of the stuff, like the witch,
like
all that stuff that had gone on with her historically.
Melisandre.
Yeah, and then it's like, I don't know, like she just seemed to get, like her story. You thought there would be more to it, and that you'd find out stuff, and you don't.
No, you don't. It's still quite a mystery.
Yeah.
She was there to serve the Lord of Light, and she's done what she needed to.
Yeah.
Do you think, I know you've not read the books, but do you reckon that there will be more information in those books?
I'd say in the books, definitely there always is, isn't there? I would hope anyway, because I can't stand it when people write books and then don't elaborate, if they, give a little hint of something, but then you don't
and
actually
then, yeah.
get to it,
So
and you
tease
think,
at
well, what was the
something.
point in that then?
What is it? Our favourite thing, if there's a
Don't
good...
introduce characters in the last,
in
the last
Murder by
series.
Death. I was thinking, I can't remember what it's called. The gun. Chekhov's gun. You introduce a gun in the first act. By the third act, it has to go off. Is that what you mean? Something like that?
Yeah, you need to know why, because otherwise it's just annoying.
Well, then you have the Night King. He's going after Bran for some reason. We don't really know why. It's because he's... I suppose you do know why, because he's the
three-eyed raven.
Three-eyed raven, yeah. I don't know why I said that. We don't know why. That's why.
Because he sees everything, doesn't he?
He does see everything. He keeps everything close to his chest, though, doesn't he?
But that would be what a wise person does, isn't it? It's better to listen than to talk.
I suppose similar to Doctor Strange in Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
1. So yeah, he's going after Bran, and it turns out Melisandre has one more thing to say, and that's to Arya, that she's going to kill brown-eyed people, green-eyed people, and blue-eyed people, and she is able to get past the dead and the dragon, the dead dragon.
But do you not think she's done that with all the practice that she did?
Yeah.
It looked like she was in Venice for that whole series.
Yeah.
That series dragged on me a bit, I have to say.
The faceless.
Yeah, but do you not think she's put a face on?
Whose face though? Because you don't see it. You just see that one of the dead man's, one of the people's hair move, and then she's there, isn't she?
Yeah.
And then the Night King catches her. It's cool. I enjoyed it. I don't mind it. I didn't mind it. I know a lot of people didn't like it because of what I've read online and stuff. But
there's always naysayers, isn't there? People would have liked it if they'd dragged it out over 16 or 20 episodes still. People want their own versions.
That's
you always do.
It's headcanon, isn't it? It's what you expect. What did you expect? Did you think it would end in a similar way, or did you think it would go a different way?
I thought it would go a different way. I thought it would go the way I thought from the first episodes I've watched.
Are you talking about the Army of the Dead?
No, I'm on about the entire end.
Well, we'll get to the end in a minute.
Yeah, I've not said anything.
Stop jumping too far. Right, so what got me with this episode, the long night one, was the amount of deaths. We said before that there was a lot of main characters on the front, and how many people died? Do you remember? No. Creepy uncle. What was he? Is that what you called him? Daenerys is. What's he called?
Oh yeah. Yeah, her hand
Norman.
sort of thing. Yeah, the guy who was going to turn to stone and so.
Oh yeah, and
there's all kinds of shit going on with him. He always comes up all right. Yeah, he
Khaleesi.
died. Yeah, he's like a proper creepy uncle that like strokes your hair and that, and you think, "No, I'll go away, you weirdo."
Yeah, so he died defending her. You can see what I was, and but who else died in that? There was a guy from the wall.
The guy with the eye patch.
Yeah, the guy with the eye patch.
Dennis Pennis's mate.
Yeah.
I think who else died?
The guy from the wall.
The witch.
Who was she sort of killed herself.
She sacrificed. So she'd done a job,
served her purpose.
Yeah. So she walked out and took that
necklace off. She was old, wasn't she? And she turned to dust.
She did a last crusade on us, didn't she?
She chose poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like no one else really died at that point. And I've in my written article, I was commented saying that I was a bit bloodthirsty.
Yeah, well, they must have just been cowards because they would have all died if they were on the front. They would have died.
There was that's what got me was the Army of the Dead came in like a bloody wave and overtook the Unsullied. They took down the Dothraki.
There were still people there.
And then you have, I got this written down. You got Brienne, Jamie, Pod, and Davos fighting against a wall, and they're able to keep back the army of the dead. They wouldn't have been able to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's just, I suppose it's just plot contrivance, and you want these characters to survive to the next few episodes.
And like, it reminded me of that film with Brad Pitt. Is it Zombie? What's the Zombie?
Zombieland. No, not Zombieland. World War Z.
Yeah, like that. I've never seen where they were running at walls and they were climbing all on top of each other to get up. And that was just what it was like. That was how full on it was.
Yeah.
And it's like.
But then it eased off.
They wouldn't have survived it.
Yeah, and it eased off though. Afterwards, when they were fighting and they were able to stop. I enjoyed the scene with Arya in the library.
Yeah.
That went proper zombie horror film. And you know what I'm like with zombie films.
Yeah.
I'm a little coward. But then you've got, what else happened? When Melisandre lit the pyre or the trench, she set it on fire, didn't she? And all the dead were just sacrificing themselves and throwing them over to put it out.
They stood there weighing it up, weren't they? And then they just started to pile themselves on it so other people could get over it.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed that episode, and well made. Do you think it should have ended the Night King? Or do you think it should have
because there's other priorities to sort out in this series, and there's only, 3 episodes left?
3 episodes left, yeah.
So, because otherwise it'd have dragged on, and then it'd have been even shorter for what went on at the end.
Okay. And then you have the last of the Starks was the episode 4, which was just finishing off everything at Winterfell. So you had first half up in the north, and then the next half was everyone was pretty much down south near King's Landing, weren't they? Do you remember it?
Vaguely, yeah.
Vaguely.
Because they all set off, didn't they? Go and see that silly bitch down south.
Cersei.
Yeah. With the gappy teeth and her horrible hair.
So this is the episode where everyone's celebrating at Winterfell, and somehow a Starbucks cup ended up in shot in the final episode. Not in the final episode, in the final cut.
And I think that's where you first see the madness setting in.
Yes, well it is, isn't it? Because she's sat on her own. John's celebrating with the Wildman and his
and they're celebrating John, aren't they, as well? With being
riding a dragon.
Yeah.
And she's not got anything, has she?
No.
No one's celebrating with her. And the first person to notice it is Varys.
Yeah.
And he seems to have been on top of everything from what
Well, he's always been there listening, hasn't he? Again, he's a listener, not a, he watches from the outside and skirts around the edges and...
Literally skirts around the edges, isn't it?
He's been in and all, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, that's where you see that she's gone power hungry.
Yeah.
And it's like she doesn't like that other people are enjoying themselves.
Yeah, well, I think she said that they love John
more than they love her.
Yeah, more than they love her.
Yeah.
And I think it's in the next episode where she says, "I have no love here in Westeros." So she is coming in as an attacking force from a foreign land, isn't she?
Yeah.
But yeah, they go down to Winterfell. No, not Winterfell. They go from Winterfell.
Hang on, you forgot to talk about like Jamie and that big bitch. He's like 6'4", whatever she is.
Oh yeah, they have a celebration, don't they? Because
Yeah.
I wanted to end
together.
up with Tormund.
That's been I did as well. I wanted to end up with him because the way that funny smiled at her, he really liked.
But it's not that. It's like I think he respects her, doesn't he?
Yeah,
and like
she's hard,
he said, I think in episode 2, he says, "I'd have made you a knight a long time," or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, it's dead sweet that you wanted them to get together. But I think you've been able to tell for a long time that she's harboured something for Jamie, and you kind of knew it was going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Tormund didn't care, really, did he?
No, and I think Jaime had resigned himself to the fact that he wasn't entitled to be happy, so that he wouldn't.
Yeah.
So
well, he gave himself.
Behind, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he could have stayed there and waited for her to come back, and
no, she didn't go.
Oh no, she
no,
didn't.
they were both staying because she worked for Sansa.
Stark, yeah.
So.
But I think he hated himself for yeah. I think he's hated himself for a long time.
Well, yeah, he has. He's realised that.
And he's kind of just thought, I don't deserve anything. No. I don't deserve to be happy, and I'll probably just make her miserable.
Yeah.
And he went off.
And did his final thing, didn't he? You've got a farewell between Jon and Ghost.
Yeah, I thought he was a bit of a shit, actually, Jon.
Yeah.
He just went. He didn't even say bye.
Didn't even say bye, didn't he?
Just looked at him and thought, right, see ya.
But.
You bastard.
It comes back. So we'll get to that.
So if you don't give your dog a cuddle.
I know, especially after it's lost its ear.
Yeah.
Okay. And you've got so Dany's fallen to envy, isn't she? She's envious of Jon, and Jon has told her.
She's envious, and she's starting to get paranoid.
Yeah,
isn't she?
Because he is the rightful king.
He's the true king.
Yeah, he is. So yeah, they go back down to Dragonstone. At this point, she's still got 2 dragons. Jon's going down by a different route, and
they went by boats, didn't they,
or
something? And then she rode a dragon, but she also had other people there.
She rode a dragon, and the other dragon followed. But then Euron Greyjoy was waiting in the.
I hate him.
Yeah.
Rufus Hound.
He does look like Rufus Hound.
He does look like Rufus Hound.
It's funny because he's supposed to be a pirate, and I can't remember who posted it, but he took a picture of Madonna at the Eurovision and said, "That's what my character should have been wearing," which is quite funny. But yeah, he kills the second dragon, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Which, all of a sudden, and she just turns and runs away. Why doesn't she just go round the back and burn the ships?
Well, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd be that angry, you would do that, and let's face it, ships can't turn around that fast.
No.
You'd just burn the shit out of them. But I suppose she was overcome with grief because they're meant to be her children, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, this is the episode as well where during that scene they destroy the fleet that's going back to Dragonstone, and they capture one person, and that's her mate. I can't remember her name. Oh, I do remember her name because there was a joke, wasn't there?
Miss Sunday.
Yeah, Miss Sunday. Miss Sunday. Yeah, so she gets captured and taken back to King's Landing really quickly.
Yeah, I don't know how she gets captured. She was like below deck on a ship.
She was below deck on a ship.
Fished her out.
Yeah, they fished her out.
Everybody else.
Tyrion made it back to land. And he's only got small legs. Grey Worm made it back to land as well.
Yeah, it was
again, plot contrivance. Yeah. You need, and I didn't really see much of a relationship between Daenerys and Missandei.
No.
But that seems to be the catalyst to what happens in the next episode. But yeah, like I say, plot contrivance. I'm not too sure if I believe it. I'd probably would have preferred them to focus more on the loss of the dragon than her, because they then go to, I think it's under Tyrion says to go to King's Landing and ask for her to surrender, ask for Cersei to surrender, which she doesn't do. Instead, she beheads Missandei, and that's the catalyst to her anger. It's adding on to it, isn't it?
Yeah, like the peace is over. Yeah. There's no way she'll back down. I
did enjoy the scene with Cersei's King's Hand or Queen's Hand and Tyrion talking, saying, well, "We're after your surrender." "No, we're after your surrender." Just talking amongst themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention as well, Arya and the Hound travel to King's Landing.
Yeah, they travel there,
don't they? Because they have unfinished business, don't they?
Yeah, they both do.
Yeah. which one is going down to kill Cersei and the other's going down to kill the Mountain, his brother.
His brother, yeah.
Yeah, which...
Who's an undead as well, which she'd never really got to the bottom of.
No, he was brought back by that Maester guy. Yeah. Okay, so the next episode, which I found to be absolutely amazing, The Bells. It's my favourite episode of this series, I think. Even better than The Long Night. Oh, they're saying that though. I'm not too sure. It works on a level because it's, again, you start off with Varys. He has seen what Daenerys is becoming. He knows that Jon is the true heir.
Did you mention she killed the Varys?
Well, we're on that now.
Yeah. No, that was after that.
No,
it's
in
before.
episode 5.
It wasn't.
The beginning of episode 5.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought it was after that.
No, because...
I thought it was start while he was still in the north.
Well, no, it starts inkling, doesn't it, with Varys? But then he talks to Tyrion. I can't see you. He talks to Tyrion in the last episode, saying that we need to get behind Jon and make him king. But Tyrion doesn't, and he grasses Varys out to Daenerys, and that's what leads him to getting killed at the beginning of the episode.
Dragons, yeah.
So he
was very sincere. He said, "I hope I'm wrong."
Yeah. He hopes he's
obviously, he didn't want anybody to. He just wanted the people to be free and to be safe.
But he's been there since Daenerys' father, as well, I think. Yeah, it will have been, and he knew what he was going to do. He was going to burn King's Landing because he was mad, and he can see that Daenerys is going the same way.
Yeah.
So then he gets killed by Dragonfire, which is... it's got to hurt, isn't it? And then they go to King's Landing to start the battle. And it's a good...
And that's leading into what we were just talking about, are you saying?
Yeah. So the death of... there's... oh yeah, I've got to say, because I forgot to mention this last time, was Varys looked like he was trying to poison Daenerys as well. So he had a girl come to his room and say, all the soldiers are looking at me and she's not eating or drinking. So I like that. That was good. There's a moment where Dany tells Grey Worm to wait for her signal, and I don't think it was off the cuff what happens during the battle. I think it was planned. So they try and take the gates, and Tyrion says that when the bell rings, that means that they've surrendered and that the battle can stop. So they do. The dragon comes in, she flies around and gets rid of all the...
They're shouting, ring the bell, aren't they?
Yeah.
And Cersei's watching it all in denial.
So Daenerys destroys all the scorpions and makes a hole in the wall for her armies to storm the city. And it's enjoyable, isn't it? It's good, because then the bells do ring. What does she do?
She burns the shit out of it.
Everything and everyone.
She kills everyone. She kills all the little kids that are crying and the mums and the everything. She kills everyone because she said weakness. She said mercy.
Yeah.
She said that that would be a weakness to, as if she thought.
Well, Cersei had brought in all the innocent people.
Yeah, and she thought it would be her weakness.
Yeah.
And she said it isn't, and she basically killed them all.
Yeah.
And that's when
Jon and Tyrion realise.
Jon and Tyrion are hating it. There's a few of them who are, but then the masses of soldiers are just cracking on and trying to rape and pillage, and Jon's fighting, like, infighting in it.
He's stopping people from doing it. He holds a crowd back as well, doesn't he? He holds some of his Northmen back. And Grey Worm sees that, which I thought was going to play out later on, but it didn't. Not really, anyway.
No.
And you've got earlier on in the episode Tyrion frees Jamie, who was captured trying to get into the city.
Yeah, and he frees him, doesn't he? And he says, right, go.
You ring the bell.
Yeah, ring the bell.
And obviously get Cersei out. And I think he made arrangements for them to go and get out of the country.
Boat, didn't he, already, yeah.
But again, it's another one of these plot contrivances where Euron Greyjoy ends up at the same place as Jamie.
Yeah.
In all of King's Landing.
Yeah.
And they have a little fight.
Yeah.
And they kill each other pretty much, don't they?
Yeah, Jamie survives, but he's mortally wounded, isn't he?
He's stabbed twice, wasn't he? And then he gets Cersei out.
Yeah, as it's falling down.
As everything's falling around, yeah.
She leaves the Hound and that big mountain guy.
Yeah, so it's been called Clegane Bowl because it's been coming that they're supposed to be fighting, and I hate that name, Clegane Bowl, although it's a good hashtag for people to search. I put it in the article. But yeah, what do you think of their fight? Did you care?
Not really
from
by
a viewer.
that point. No, I didn't, because like the Hound was a bit like he kind of almost forgot he'd existed and shit, and he was a bit of an arsehole, so didn't really care one way or the other. And like when the big mountain guy popped that guy's head, that was gross.
Well, in the earlier series.
Like in the earlier series, and then he tried to do it to his brother and shit, and then obviously the Hound just like, I don't know where he got his strength from, then barged him through a wall and they both died.
Oh no, well, yeah, but he stabs him in the head, doesn't he? And he still doesn't die.
Yeah, and he said, why won't you die? And obviously he can't die because he's reanimated or whatever he was. But yeah, I thought that was a bit pointless because I didn't really care about the Hound's story.
I didn't. No, I didn't.
So I didn't get why we saw him.
It's like his storyline last series where he ended up joining a group of people. He must
be more significant in the books, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. I'm not too sure. Like I say, we'll have to.
But I didn't like him. He's not nice, and I can remember like when Arya left him to die and all that, and it was like, how has he survived?
Yeah, because he fights Brienne, doesn't he? And still survives. Yeah, I just think it's fan service for that point. The people wanted them to fight.
Yeah.
But there was, it was all right. Again, it was shot brilliantly. It reminded me of the Highlander scene where Sean Connery fights the Kurgan.
The guy at Shawshank.
Yeah. Bloody hell. James Bond fights the guy from Shawshank, the warden, not the warden, the
yeah, he's the
prison guard.
The prison guard, yeah.
What else happened in that episode? I can't remember. Some things that got me as well. All their hopes were, the army's hopes were based solely around the dragon, because there was no siege equipment, there was no catapults or battering rams.
Yeah, they were just going in on foot and fighting, weren't they?
But you wouldn't be able to do that against the wall.
Yeah, so the plan was she was always going to get into the battlements somehow.
Yeah.
But then, and then they didn't need any fighting because she just went around the entire city and burned everything.
Yeah.
And destroyed it. So there's nothing left. There's no city. There's no King's Landing to rule over.
Well, that's bed. It's funny because it links back to I can't remember what episode it was. It was a while ago, season 2 possibly, where the 3 dragons are kidnapped by a load of warlocks, and she ends up going into the House of the Dead or something like that. And she sees a vision of King's Landing.
And it's snow or ash,
it looks down. Like it could be snow.
And she's going towards the Iron Throne.
Yeah, and it's exactly what it turns out that it's what she's done. Everything that she's done has turned it into that. But like I say, it's a brilliant episode, and someone has mashed together on YouTube the scene where she attacks on the dragon with a Metallica song. And it's brilliant. I was listening to that the other day. And then you've got the final episode. So it's the aftermath of what's gone on. And we've just literally watched that. We finished about 10 minutes ago?
No, probably about
half an hour ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've been talking for half an hour. Alright, so final episode. Give me your opinions on it.
Not what I expected. And I think that's what will annoy a lot of people. It's not what they wanted. It's not. It's very...
sedate?
Yeah.
A bit.
Very anticlimactic.
It kind of ends within the first, half hour. And
yeah.
it was...
and then it's just everybody going on the merry way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, in fact, I know there's a time jump you can see.
Yeah, weeks have gone by, hasn't it?
Yeah, which I didn't like. I wanted to see what happened after that. And I suppose that's what you do. You know what's happened. But I'm slightly disappointed.
Yeah.
For the first...
I think John comes across like really weak. Tyrion like chucks his hand badge down in front of everyone, so she has him taken prisoner because he can't believe what she's done. He's the only one who really is outwardly appalled by her.
Yeah.
Everybody else, I think, is, but is hiding it because she's the queen.
Yeah.
And Tyrion's the only one who's got a set of balls, really, who says, no, you're absolutely mental and I won't serve under you. So she has him put away, doesn't she, to take him away.
Yeah.
And John goes to visit Tyrion.
Yeah. And like he's still trying.
He's trying to reason why she's done
it.
And like Tyrion does and says, well, if you had a vision that you were only here to unite everyone in the world, wouldn't you get rid of people who were in your way?
And he says, if you were riding a dragon, you know how powerful that is. Would you have done that?
Yeah, would you have burned
And he
the entire
says,
city?
I don't. John says, I don't know. And Tyrion says, yes, you do. Because he does. Because John knows that he wouldn't
have ever done it.
And he does mention that, it's... later on when he sees Daenerys, she says that you've killed people who haven't fallen in line. And it's referring back to when he was killed by the people on the Black Watch and that kid. Do you remember the kid? And he was hanged.
Yeah. Yeah, but he did set him up, to be fair.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
You know, little shit. String him up.
String him up. But throughout the first half of the episode, I suppose you can turn it into halves because of the time jump. First half, I was proper on edge. Like...
Yeah, you didn't know what was going to happen.
Like, she's just walking around.
And he left Tyrion in his prisoner's cell saying, she's my queen, sort of thing. She always will be. And you know, I wish it didn't end like this. And he leaves him. And Tyrion looks mortified, I think, doesn't he? That he's the only one who can see it. And he's worried for what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, because Daenerys is just... she's just spoken to her armies saying that we're not going to stop at King's Landing. We're going to save everyone. We're going to free everyone.
We're going to break the wheel.
Yeah.
She said, didn't she? In the world, basically anywhere in the world
where
people are ruled, she's going to go in and rule over them.
Yeah.
So she's turning into what she's been fighting against.
Yeah, pretty much.
She doesn't see it.
Yeah, she's mental. And then, but again, it's like when Tyrion gets arrested, she walks past John and she has a proper scowl on her face. But then later on, she's in the throne room. John comes in and she's all happy to see him.
Yeah.
It's like you said, some of the things just don't add up.
Yeah, but it might just be the setting you on a different path, so you think something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, they end up in the throne room, don't they?
Yeah.
She walks in and it's her vision from however
it
many
is,
series ago.
The second series.
And it looks like she's about to sit on the chair.
Yeah.
And she turns to look around, and then John's
out the
in the distance and he comes through.
And they talk. And
They talk, don't they? And it's like she says she wants him to like rule with her type of thing, and how great it'll be, and John's really cross. It's the only.
Yeah, he does. He stands
He
up to it,
says,
doesn't
"We've just have you been down there? Have you seen all the burned little children and the burned families?" And she said, you know, they didn't have a choice.
Well, you said what did you say? He says that there'll be other people.
Yeah, she'd said, you know what she said, but it's the right thing, it's the good thing to do.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, but there'll be
will
people on
someone else
other
will
side,
think.
and they'll think it's right and the good thing. And she said, well, they don't have a choice, and that was it.
That was the key, wasn't it?
That was it. And they kissed, don't they? And it's the first time in a long time that they've kissed, because he's not been able to kiss her. Because since finding out that they're related.
Well, he clearly does love her, though.
Oh, he does love her, yeah. And you can tell he's torn. And yeah, they're sort of in an embrace, stood in front of the Iron Throne, and me and you both went, stab. And then we laughed and said, oh, we need that to happen. And then you hear a knife and a stab.
But they've done it so you don't know who.
You don't know who's been stabbed.
Yeah. But it I suppose if you look at it, it goes back to the way you expected it to go.
Yeah.
It couldn't have gone any other way. Really.
No.
Unless she killed John and took the throne.
Carried on being nuts. But John killed her, effectively, stabs her in the heart, and she dies within seconds, doesn't she, in his arms.
Yeah.
And then the dragon comes up.
Yeah. Now, I wanted something to happen which should have happened, which I thought was being set up from
as if he was
everything.
Burn John, and John would survive because obviously
he's a Targaryen, line.
But the dragon is moving her about with its snout like a little puppy that's lost its master, and then it turns and burns the Iron Throne, and the Iron Throne just basically melts, so there is no Iron Throne anymore. So it resolves that issue almost of the material side.
Look at what you've done for this stupid throne. I'd like the scene before it where he's walking to the throne room.
Yeah, when he's going up to see her.
And it's like a mound of rubble covered in snow, because it is now snowing now. But then it moves and it's Drogon underneath everything. And it sniffs him and lets him past. Probably regrets that decision.
Well, it doesn't kill him when it's...
No. I thought that there seems to be a lot of... I don't know if it's just
loose ends.
Loose ends.
Yeah. Why did that happen? Why did the dragon let him pass? Why didn't the dragon kill him?
Yeah. Because you would have thought, take care of him, that's it.
Yeah.
Done. Because then I can understand why he survived, but then they don't follow through with it. They've gone...
Well, the dragon just picks her up after moving about a little bit and picks her up in its claw and does one. Because I said I'd have just covered the blood and gone, has anyone seen
where's she gone? Where's she gone? She was here a minute ago. Dragon's over there.
But then that time jumps again, doesn't it? And weeks have passed.
Yeah, and
you can tell because it's not snowing anymore. It looks hot again, which I don't like. But
what? You think it should have been?
Well, it's meant to be snowing. How could it be hot a few weeks later?
Because winter's pissed off.
Oh, so winter was coming for ages. It snowed for an hour and then fucked off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Well, it's supposed to be in this. It's that winters can last for months and months and months and years.
Right.
But this one has lasted a day. Yeah. Well, it did start snowing when Jamie left King's Landing at the end of the last series, because a drop of snow falls, but then it doesn't happen.
Right.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Well, then you've got the second half of the episode, which is just sort of resolving everything. And I think this is what lost me a little bit. And I thought they were going to go with Sam's suggestion of a democracy, a voting system. But that was laughed out.
Yeah, so they all are gathered out there.
Yeah, the remaining families.
All of the lords and ladies of the big houses.
Yeah.
And they bring out Tyrion, who's a prisoner.
Yeah, he's still a prisoner, isn't he?
And they ask where John is, and he's still a prisoner, but he's not been allowed to attempt.
No.
Tyrion has.
Because Grey Worm's pissed off.
They have to decide, because they have to decide something. They say, well, there's nobody who can decide it, so they say, right, you need to appoint a king.
Yeah.
And then Tyrion becomes really wise and talks about, I won't call him Bran, but you said it's Bran.
Bran, yeah.
Yeah.
Like bran flakes.
And why he should be the king.
Because of stories, because he is the
he's a storyteller, and he's not going to be.
He knows the history
king.
of
He's not going to have children who then will fight over anything because he can't have children, and it will be those houses then vote in again if anything happened to him. So they all say aye and all that malarkey. Sansa says no, the North will be free
because of everything that's happened.
As it was for thousands of years.
Which, if you look at the maps, the North is the biggest part anyway.
Yeah.
So
then Bran becomes the ruler of the Six Kingdoms.
It must be the Six Kingdoms, yeah.
So he immediately appoints
Tyrion as his hand. Yeah.
And it's done as a punishment, he said, because he's made such bad decisions.
Yeah.
He now has to spend his life sorting those decisions out and fixing what.
Which is good as well, because possibly some of the best character development throughout the whole series is Tyrion, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because like you said, he's pissing off the edge of the world, and then he's the king's hand. It's good, but he doesn't want it, which is also.
And the Unsullied want more, don't they? Yeah. They're unhappy.
And I said, so they want his dick.
Yeah. So then they go to Jon, don't they? And he's been stuck in solitary confinement for weeks, because he must have obviously admitted that he'd killed her because he knew all about it.
Well, he should have covered up the blood.
No, it's like how did he do that? And I think if he'd have rocked outside and gone, she's dead, I've killed her, and the dragon's just fucked off with the body, so there's no evidence.
Yeah.
I think they'd have killed him.
I do. I don't think they would have kept him alive.
No, I don't think they would, especially the fact that they didn't have any.
Grey Worm was a little bit
over him
because he'd gone mad because his Sunday has fallen off.
Yeah, after his Sunday's head flopped off.
The best meme I've seen for a
while. So anyway, ignoring all that and the fact I think they would have killed him.
Yeah.
So he was held prisoner. So then they'd said, right. They'd agreed to let him go.
Especially like the Dothraki as well. They'd have well killed him.
Yeah. But they're already gone. Who knows?
No, they were all down there. They were all in the bloody courtyard, celebrating, drinking, and probably raping.
Raping and pillaging.
Yeah.
So, Jon basically is told that he goes to the Black Watch for the rest of his days. He's not allowed to take a wife. He's not allowed to have children. No lands, no titles.
Yeah.
He goes up there, and that's the end of him. And that's where it all is wrong, because he's the
he's the rightful king.
He's the right king. And even before I knew he was the rightful king, from the very first few episodes, I said,
it's him.
It's him. I was like, he's going to be the one who's important. He's going to be, and it's obvious, and because he's so moral and so. Guided and wants to do the right thing.
With the whole, the story of it, though, it's like he's a Targaryen, but he's been brought up as a Stark, and not just any Stark, Ned's kid, and Ned is like the most honourable man throughout the whole of the series, pretty much.
Yeah.
And so it's a Targaryen.
Have to watch it all from the beginning.
We might have to, yeah. He's a Targaryen who has been brought up as a Stark, so he's different, and I think that's they've gone for Bran. So there's a Stark who is king
on the throne, yeah.
But I still feel like it should have been Jon.
Jon's had a really shit life because he's been brought up as a bastard son, hasn't he?
He's been hated by Ned's wife. I can't remember what she was called.
Lady Stark.
Well done. Yeah, Lady Stark. He's been hated by her, but he's been brought up as a Stark, pretty much.
Yeah. But he's had a shit life. He lost the first person that he loved.
Yeah.
It all went tits up at the Black Watch, whatever the frig it's called.
Yeah.
And he was in love again, and then that turned out to be his auntie. So that's just all kinds of wrong.
Yeah.
And actually, you're the rightful king of all this.
And he's not even getting a frigging kingdom.
Yeah, do it. And he has to kill the person that he loves. Yeah. So, and I don't like it. And they sent him off in the end, and off he popped.
But then I suppose he's happy because he's going. One thing that I didn't get, why was it being sent to the wall? Was it, like you said, was it just sort of like a religious, like an order? Because there's no Night King anymore.
No
they don't have to fight against them, and they've made peace with the wildlings.
Well, it was more for the wildlings originally, wasn't it?
Well, no.
Yeah, because they
because
didn't
the
know
wall was
about
magic.
Yeah, but they didn't know about the dead, did they?
Yeah,
Until
yeah.
I don't think they did.
Yeah, because the last long night they attacked.
Oh, was it a long time?
Yeah,
ago? Right.
yeah. They've been coming down ever so often.
All right, I don't know.
That's why the wall's there. It's a magic wall.
Well, I thought
to
it
keep
was
the
for
dead
all
out.
the nutty wildlings.
No.
But yeah, I don't like the end to his story.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think it's a bit of a anticlimactic.
Arya just like says, right, I'm going west of Westeros because there's not.
That's what she's been east. She learnt a load of shit there, and now she's going west.
Yeah, but it's like, what's she gonna do? And what the crew on that?
She's gonna find America, isn't she?
Yeah, whatever. I don't like that either.
Well, you said as well a long time ago that Sansa will become queen.
Yeah.
Of the North, or she'll sit on the throne.
Yeah.
And I think I said that as well. It's going to be Sansa, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, she ended up like
Queen of the North.
Pretty much equal to Bran.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's quite good that you got a brother sister split kingship. Kind of.
And both from the Starks, which are an honourable family, so they should be honourable leaders, really.
So going forward, it should be a good kingdom.
Yeah.
Until they've got to vote for another king after Bran dies. And I did like the idea that Bran's gonna try and find Drogon.
Yeah.
Because he can wag into him.
And Brianna was sat at the end looking through the Book of Nights.
Oh
and
yeah.
Telling tales, and she filled in the Jaime Lannister chapter.
And what
it
is
was
it?
Quite sad, wasn't it?
What's the saying? The winners write history. Because she put at the end, died saving his queen.
He died protecting his queen. Yeah.
What did I say?
Saving.
Same thing. Protecting is not the same thing.
Yeah.
But that can be construed as whatever, can't it? Which queen?
He died protecting his queen. Yeah. He only ever had one queen, didn't he?
So yeah. And that's it. That's the end.
We didn't really talk about that death, did we? They died in a load of rubble.
No, we didn't. We didn't even mention them.
Oh, so much happened, didn't it?
Yeah.
But they basically died, didn't they? He went to lead her out.
He tried to get her out,
collapsed around them, and she didn't want to die.
No. And is it after all the crap that she's done? Are we to feel sorry for her slightly?
No.
No.
I only felt sorry for her baby because obviously
was she pregnant now?
Baby.
Was she?
I think she had a bit of a tummy.
I don't know.
But then it was quite sad in that last episode. Tyrion went in and tried. He must have known where they'd gone out.
Well, yeah, because he set it up.
And he found them, didn't he? Uncovered his hands, somehow. So he unburied them. And it was sad because he really cried because he only ever had. That really made me feel up actually before the episode of the last episode.
Yeah.
Where him and Jaime.
Oh yeah, you said had
a one-on-one, and he was really
because he was the only one who protected him, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's the only one who ever loved him, and the only one who ever treated him like a person and a family member. And even though Jaime's been an absolute
cunt,
I would say.
Yeah.
Throughout, Jaime was horrendous. He's the reason why Bran's broken. It's like, but he reminded people of that, didn't he? He said, "I'm the person who threw a kid out of a window."
Yeah.
Because I was protecting, and he knows exactly what he is.
Well, that's kind of why Bran forgave him, because again, Bran knows pretty much everything, and he knew that that's where he was meant to be.
Yeah, everything was done for a reason. When they appointed Bran, and he said, "Will you take it if we give it you?" And he said, "Well, why do you think I travelled all this way?" So it's like he knew he was always going to be the king.
The bastard.
Yeah.
I don't like Bran. He shouldn't be king.
I just don't like the fact that Jon Snow didn't get a happy ending.
No, he didn't. Or did he? Is that what he liked? Because he was always happy beyond the wall, wasn't he?
North, yeah.
And he's got his little mate
out of EastEnders.
Yeah, and we get a bit of closure for Ghost, because he welcomes him back, and you actually see him go up to him and give him a cuddle.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Whereas he didn't last time, did he?
Yeah, I think it was anticlimactic because nothing that you expected to happen happened, other than Sansa getting on the throne.
Yeah.
And it was weird because at the end, when Tyrion was sat in the room with the he was waiting for the advisors, how many times had been sat around that table with his own family who are now all dead.
Yeah, with his own family and everyone who had their own agenda.
Yeah, and it's like he's now there, the hand advising them all and appointing the advisors, and he's my favourite character, Tyrion, I have to say.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think people will hate it because it didn't go the way they wanted it to.
There was definitive end, but it wasn't the definitive end that I think people wanted. They wanted
Jon should have died or become king of the north. I think people won't be happy because neither of those things happened.
He became king of the far north.
Yeah, the wildling people.
He was the only one. Well, he was the only one of two riding a horse.
Yeah.
That's people are walking. There's a horse. Class divide there.
Yeah. It was.
But he does look back as well at the end, and he doesn't have any regrets on his face, I suppose.
Yeah, he did the right thing.
Yeah.
And I think he was worried that he didn't.
Well, that's all he could do, wasn't it?
I was going to call Tristan then.
Tristan.
I don't know who Tristan is. Little fella plays drums in the Foo Fighters. Tyrion. He said to me, because he said, "Did I do the right thing, Jon Snow?" And Tyrion says, "Ask me in 10 years."
Yeah. He won't see him in 10 years.
No, but he did do the right thing.
Yeah.
Because she'd have just continued, and he couldn't allow that to happen.
No. He did do the right thing. But so where do you think would you have wanted everyone then?
I would have wanted him to have killed her.
Yeah, like it did.
Because I think she was past it. There was no way you would be able to rein her back.
Yeah.
Him become the king.
Right.
Have people like Sansa in the north.
Yeah.
And be free. Just have people be free. I would still have left everybody who's dead, like Jaime and everyone. And
yeah. No, I agree, because they would like the toxic people, really, weren't they?
Yeah.
The Lannisters.
You'd have the same group of people, but with Jaime, not Jaime.
Jon.
Who's Jaime?
Jaime Lannister.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that. But Jon is the king, because he's the rightful king.
Yeah.
He's the best person for the job, but is he?
Well, he didn't want it.
No.
But is he a good leader? I don't know. Well, that's it. That's the end.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. It wasn't amazing, and I can see why people are disappointed. But it just doesn't go the way you want it.
Do you think this episode was a little bit disjointed, though?
Yeah, because there were things that didn't make sense.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, why has that happened? And it's like, some of it was just symbolism, like the burning of the Iron Throne and stuff.
And the scene where she's walking from the dragon, and the dragon stretches out its wing. That's a beautiful shot.
Yeah, and she's got behind her, and she's in black, and she's got big black wings behind her. Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, it's trying to show that she's...
That's going to be the thumbnail for this podcast.
Yeah.
If I can get it.
I think Jon had a shit life, I think.
Tyrion and Jon, I think they sort of parallel each other.
Yeah. And Daenerys did, really, because she was
under...
shit life. Her brother was horrible. Do you remember her brother? He used to slap her around and marry her off, and she'd been ousted, and I can't think of the word.
Yeah.
Proper word for it.
It's funny as well, though, because there's
So she didn't have a great life, and she didn't have children, and her children, the dragons, most of them died, and everybody that she'd loved or trusted died.
I think she was supposed to be betrayed by a lover as well, and I think that's what Jon did in the end by killing her.
Yeah.
So she was supposed to be betrayed. I think it was something like betrayed 3 times.
A bit like Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a cock crowing in the background.
There might have been. Well, there's a dragon, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed the first half. I thought it was great.
The second half, I think, with anything like this, such a big series and it's been condensed.
Yeah.
It's never going to be what people want.
And
you have to move really quick and you have to tie all the loose ends off. So it is what it is. It wasn't rubbish. It wasn't amazing.
No, it wasn't, no.
I think if we'd have done it and they'd have put Jon Snow on the throne, you'd have had happier people.
Yeah.
But why keep people happy? It's the end of the
series. You don't
need an audience.
Yeah,
you've had them hooked in for the last how many series? Yeah. That's the last time.
That's it. Yeah, you've made your money.
Your fingers up.
Yeah. I'm going to make Star Wars now, and they are. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
No, I'm. Go on, give it out of 5.
3.
3?
Yeah.
Midway. Oh, that's over mid, isn't it? I'd probably give it. I don't know. No, I enjoyed it. I think 3. I think you're right. Oh well. So, I don't know. I think we'll end now. All right, that's been the Game of Thrones podcast, the Man About a Dog Movie podcast. You can get in touch the usual ways: Facebook, Instagram. Let us know what you thought of the season finale of Game of Thrones. Thanks for listening. See you later.
Bye.